Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. Another episode of Underrated, and this time it is the MOTO E4. Now the MOTO E4 is a phone that you can, last year I told you how you can get it for dirt cheap. I told you how to unlock it for dirt cheap. And I told you that you could save a lot of money by getting this phone right here. Now this phone is a phone that's kind of considered a low end, or I would say it's kind of a mid tier because it performs like it. It's got stock Android, it's got really good cameras, and it's just a kind of a complete package for a person who's wanting to do all of the basics that you can possibly do with a smartphone. And this phone has a 5-inch display, and it is 720p. It has a, I believe, a 2,800 milliamp hour battery inside, which is removable. It has an SD card slot, really nice camera, LED on the front and the rear, and performance, and just kind of a complete package. I mean, what do you say? Since the last Underrated episode that I did, I decided to go ahead and start using the MOTO E4 regularly, and I did so up until recently because I wanted to charge it and give you a review on it now, once again, in the Underrated section. The reason I put it in the Underrated section is because a lot of phones are coming out today, and they're offering you a bunch of features. You can write on the screen, or you can do this, you can do that. When in all actuality, a lot of people in the world really just want a phone that works. And this is how, in some ways, the iPhone is winning, because they've got it set into people's minds that the iPhones just work. Well, Motorola can say the same thing. Motorola has actually I have several Motorola phones, but Motorola can say that about their MOTO E4. Now, the MOTO E4 is compact in size, but when you think about it, a 5-inch screen is actually pretty big in comparison, to a lot of phones out there. It gets kind of a bad rap because of the tech world, and the tech world will tell you that that's too small. But a lot of phones that cost 6, 7, 8 times the cost can't do that. They can't do it. So, and that's kind of a huge plus. This phone also has a fingerprint reader, which isn't slow by any means. It's actually a really nice fingerprint reader. The stock Android on here is really nice. Now, this phone is supposed to get a lot of software updates, and supposedly Android Oreo, but we're in March of 2018, and there's no Oreo on here yet, but it's still running close, Android Nugget. But the fact is, it works. And that's the most important thing. So when you deal with phones like this, some people will call them budget phones, and they're really speaking about the price. I don't think that there's low quality phones that are just horrible, and they cost almost as much as this phone. Now this phone, the unlocked version of this phone, can run as much as $200, but this is the Verizon version, and obviously it can be unlocked because I have it unlocked and running on LTE with T-Mobile and Cricket and all these other GSM providers. But save money if you can. If you're interested in the MOTO E4, I would tell you definitely take the route that I did. The Verizon version in particular has the fingerprint reader. Some versions of this phone, I think it's Boost or something, or Metro, they don't have the fingerprint reader, which is kind of strange to me how they determined who gets what. So, the phone itself, I'm definitely going to tell you to get the Verizon version. Pay the $2 or the $1 to unlock whatever I got on that video. I'll try to remember to link it down below. But if not, just go on to eBay and just search Verizon MOTO E4 Unlock, and you will find a ton of them out there. I haven't looked in a while because that was last year, but probably cheaper than $2 now. So when it comes to purchasing a smartphone, there are some key things that you should look for. I think you should look for a pretty decent camera, and you should also look for fantastic battery life. Make sure you check your network. And if it's important to you, make sure it has a headphone jack. Some phones don't have headphone jacks nowadays, and those phones are costing more and more and more. And it's more along the lines of, why are we paying for less? And LG was known for having their removable batteries, and Motorola is sticking to it, but they're only sticking to it on their lower priced and lower tier phones. Because I don't foresee there's no way I would want a removable battery in this thing. The MOTO Z2 doesn't need a removable battery, and it's kind of weird. That phone has a smaller battery than this phone. That is super strange. Like, that phone retailed at like $800 or $750 or something like that when it first came out, and now you can get it for probably half that price. But still, it has a smaller capacity battery than this phone, and it's not removable. Now, granted, it does have like high-powered Snapdragon 835 and all these different kind of specs in there, but these phones pretty much honestly don't run that different. You know, they're both fast, fluid, you know, no crashing or anything. Now the cameras obviously might be a little bit better, but still, you know, this phone is definitely in the underrated section for a reason, and so is that one. That video is coming too later. But this is the Moto E4, and you know, $40 is what I paid for this last year. It still works, and this is a phone that I would take with me, like if I'm going to a game or something like that, and I'm not going to be on my phone very often. I just need to check social media or call or text someone, and I don't care if I lose it. These are the type of phones I like to take with me sometimes when I'm going to different places. But this is definitely an underrated phone, because phones that come out 6 months, you know, later, you know, you hardly ever hear from them. They come out that long ago. In the tech world, 3 months is a long time. So, you know, the Moto E4 is a phone that people will use off into in 2020 or whatever, however long we're here, but you won't hear about it. So I think phones like this still need to be purchased in this day and age, because you're going to get the Moto G6, the Moto G5 is already here. So the Moto E4 shouldn't be left behind. If Motorola continues with this trend, we're going to see some great things from Motorola. So it's your man Jay Will. I will see you guys in the next video. #underrated, the Moto E4.